Control A.7.4 is one of the new controls introduced in the 2022 revision of ISO 27001, reflecting the growing importance of active physical security monitoring in modern information security programs. Physical security perimeters and entry controls are valuable, but they become significantly more effective when supported by continuous monitoring that detects breaches, generates alerts, and enables rapid response. In this video, we explore what A.7.4 requires, how to deploy effective physical monitoring across different site types, and how monitoring integrates with incident response. Let us begin with the physical security monitoring methods that A.7.4 supports and how organizations determine the appropriate coverage for their facilities. Control A.7.4 requires organizations to continuously monitor premises for unauthorized physical access, deploying appropriate monitoring technologies and procedures based on risk. CCTV is the most widely deployed physical security monitoring technology and forms the backbone of most monitoring programs under A.7.4. Camera placement should follow a systematic coverage plan that maps every significant area: entry points, exit points, server rooms, data storage areas, and high-value asset locations. Camera specifications should ensure sufficient image resolution for face and credential recognition. Cameras should be tamper-evident and positioned so that an attacker cannot easily disable them without being recorded by another camera. Motion sensors and intrusion alarms extend monitoring beyond what cameras can detect in real time. Motion-activated alerts can notify security personnel of activity in areas that should be unoccupied, such as server rooms after hours or storage areas at weekends. Intrusion alarms on doors and windows add a layer of detection for forced entry that is independent of camera coverage. In high-risk areas, we combine camera coverage with motion detection and alarm systems so that no single monitoring technology failure creates a blind spot. Security guards provide the element that technology cannot fully replicate: human judgment. A security guard at an entry point can challenge individuals whose credentials have been presented but whose behavior seems suspicious, verify that visitors match their stated identity, and make discretionary decisions that a camera or access control system cannot. For facilities handling highly sensitive information or assets, manned security provides the highest assurance level. Security guard procedures must be documented, including patrol routes, check-in requirements, and incident reporting protocols. Electronic access control systems, keycards, biometric readers, and PIN pads generate logs of every access event as a natural byproduct of their operation. These logs are a passive monitoring layer that records who accessed which area and when, without requiring any additional infrastructure. Under A.7.4, organizations must ensure these logs are collected, retained for an appropriate period, protected from tampering, and reviewed regularly. Access logs are often the first evidence source in a physical security incident investigation. 4 key concepts that underpin the design and operation of effective physical security monitoring under Control A.7.4. A monitoring coverage plan starts by mapping the physical environment and identifying every area that contains information assets or could serve as an access route to them. For each area, we determine what monitoring is appropriate given the risk level and the nature of the assets present. The coverage plan documents the monitoring method, the equipment used, the coverage area of each camera or sensor, and the result of a coverage gap analysis. This plan becomes the basis for procurement, installation verification, and ongoing maintenance of the monitoring infrastructure. CCTV footage retention must balance 2 competing requirements. Longer retention provides more evidence for investigating incidents that are discovered weeks after they occur, but longer retention also increases data protection obligations under regulations such as GDPR. Organizations must define a retention period based on their risk profile, typically 30 to 90 days for most areas, with longer retention possible for very high security areas, and implement technical controls to automatically delete footage after the retention period expires. The retention policy must be documented and consistently enforced. Remote and unmanned sites present the greatest physical security monitoring challenge. A branch office, data center colocation facility, or communications cabinet that is not permanently staffed relies entirely on technical monitoring. For these sites, the monitoring coverage plan must be even more comprehensive, and the alert and response procedures must be clearly defined since there is no on-site security team to respond. Remote monitoring capabilities, real-time camera feeds accessible to a central security team, immediate alarm notifications to named individuals, and regular remote access log review are essential. An alert without a defined response procedure has little security value. Under A.7.4, every alert type, intrusion alarm trigger, motion detection in a restricted area, access denied event, camera fault, must have a corresponding response procedure that defines who is notified, by what method, within what time frame, and what initial actions they should take. Response procedures must be tested periodically through simulated incidents to verify that they work and that responsible personnel are prepared to execute them. Now let us examine how recording, retention policy, and incident response procedures make physical security monitoring genuinely effective under A.7.4. Recording and retaining monitoring data and having defined procedures to respond to alerts are what transform physical monitoring from passive observation into an active security capability. Footage retention must be an explicit policy decision, not an accident of storage capacity. We determine the retention period based on how long physical security incidents typically take to be discovered. If it takes 3 weeks to notice that a server has been interfered with, we need at least 3 weeks of footage retained. The retention period must also comply with applicable data protection law, as CCTV footage is personal data in most jurisdictions. Technical controls should enforce automatic deletion at the retention period boundary, and the retention policy should be reviewed annually. Remote and unmanned sites require a monitoring strategy designed specifically for the absence of permanent human oversight. The monitoring infrastructure must be reliable, redundant, and capable of alerting a central security team immediately when an event occurs. Response procedures for remote sites must account for travel time. If the nearest security responder is 45 minutes away, the response procedure must recognize that time gap and identify interim actions, such as notifying local police or security services, that can be taken while the internal team is in transit. Testing alert and response procedures is as important as having them. An alarm that triggers and notifies the right person is of no value if that person does not know what to do, cannot reach the site, or the contact details in the procedure are out of date. Regular tabletop exercises and simulated physical security incidents verify that procedures work end to end. Testing also provides evidence for ISO 27001 auditors that the monitoring program is operational and effective, not merely documented. Physical security monitoring data has increasing value when integrated with digital security monitoring. A physical access event and a simultaneous network login from a different location is an indicator of credential sharing or compromise that neither physical nor digital monitoring would detect independently. Security information and event management platforms that ingest both physical access logs and digital security events enable this correlation. A.7.4 encourages this integration as part of a holistic approach to security monitoring. Let us bring together the essential points from our exploration of Control, A.7.4, Physical Security Monitoring. To master all 93 ISO 27001, 2022 Annex A controls, including all the new 2022 editions, with practical guidance and implementation templates, enroll in our complete Udemy course today. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more ISO 27001 control explainers. See you in the next video.